Alright, for pre-AP, this is Excretory System 8.13. So this deals with your kidneys. So let's go. Alright, so what your excretory system deals with is osmoregulation. We need to highlight, make sure you have that highlighter, that pen, that pencil. So we need to highlight that it is a continuous control of water and solute concentration. Think about solute. Make you a list out there. Put solute, solid particles. And then, so remember, this is a part of homeostasis. And what this means is it regulates, keeps in check across a transport equilibrium membrane. So this is what it looks like here. Transport equilibrium. You're going to have molecules moving across a membrane. Think about cell membrane transport, osmosis, diffusion, active-passive transport. So these are some of the things that are going to be going across the membrane. Potassium, ammonia, water, just some hydrogen ions. Alright, so what we want to talk about is Nephrata. These are in, let's highlight what these are in. These are in mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, fish. They're also going to be called, so that's in them. What's in this picture? These are going to be different in annelids. These are going to be a Metamorpha. So annelids, go up beside there again, tell yourself earthworm. And Megalia tubules, those are going to be in insects, green glands, crustaceans. And then flame cells, those are in Pleomanthes, those are those flatworms. So these are all different. So there's their Metanophyta. So this is how you, again, this allows you to control water and solute concentration within an organism. This is homeostasis. How do they regulate that water and solute concentration homeostasis? So this is what theirs looks like in an earthworm. And then Malapia tubules, those are in insects. We won't really dissect an insect, but I wanted you to see what it looks like. And then flame cells inside of that flatworm, that Pleomanthes. Alright, so we need to know what in the world is going on. So what happens is we need to highlight, helps the removal of nitrogenous waste, which is pretty much the ammonia created from using those amino acids for energy. Think about it. Here's one of our, so this is nitrate. So whenever we use amino acids, what makes amino acids? Go ahead and put out beside there. Whenever you break down protein in your body, you are going to have to remove the nitrogen waste left over from breaking down those proteins. So let's highlight. You're going to have ammonia. Think about cleaners, like in Windex, has ammonia in it. Also, cat urine has ammonia in it. Let's highlight. It is formed because it requires lots of water to dispose of it. We're going to see this in fish, like I circled here. Urea. It requires kind of a moderate amount of water to get rid of it, but it's good for dry land animals. So we want to highlight mammals and amphibians. And what happens is, highlight, this is formed because it combines with ammonia and CO2, carbon dioxide, because they're also a waste product. And then uric acid, this requires very little water. You're going to find this in birds. Alright, everybody got that? Alright, adaptations for water conservation. We want to know keratinized skin. That means we're going to have a nice thick layer of protective tissue. So highlight, this is in reptiles, birds, mammals. We're also going to have exoskeletons. So again, urine production. We want to know that exoskeleton, that's going to be in insects. It's also going to be in that arthropod, that crayfish we dissect. Being nocturnal, If you're nocturnal, you're only going to hunt at night. This is going to, please highlight, avoid possible dehydration from being out in the sun. This is mainly desert animals, so highlight that too. Sorry, guys. That was my mom texting me. Silencing the phone now. All right, storage cells or vacuoles for extra water. So again, these are going to be like camels. They have a special organ that's going to hold that water. Plants, remember they have that big swimming pool, central vacuole. And again, remember that waxy cuticle, that thick waxy part on plants. Leaves. I went too far. That's okay. Alright, so urine production for basic animals. There are two-step processes. One is filtration. We need to highlight that this liquid portion of blood is being separated from the blood cells and platelets, so that plasma. And that liquid portion becomes a filtrate because it's going to leave that blood vessel. And then you're going to collect the filtrate. And then you're going to remove all that nitrogen waste and other excess molecules. And then there's going to be tubular reabsorption. So here it is in my picture, filtration. And then reabsorption, you're going to reabsorb. Let's highlight. You're going to reabsorb those good materials from the filtrate. And you want to leave behind the bad that you don't want, like that nitrogenous waste. We need to highlight that it collects all or most of the good materials and puts them back into the blood, like oxygen. You want to keep it. You want to get rid of CO2. And we want to highlight it leaves behind the bad materials to be collected and disposed of as urine. Urine is going to get rid of, broken down dead blood cells. It's going to get rid of CO2, anything that you do not need. Osmoregulation in mammals, we want to highlight kidneys. What your kidneys do is they collect over 1 million nephrons per kidney. This is what your nephrons look like. These are the parts of the kidney. So structures of the urinary system, you're going to have a renal artery. Remember arteries? That blood vessel is going to collect. It's going to go away from the heart. It's going to bring all the polluted blood to the kidneys because it's traveling away from the heart. Going to take all those gunky stuff we don't want, take it to the kidneys. Then that renal vein, it's going to take that purified, that good stuff we want, that blood, take it away from the kidneys to travel it back to the heart. The renal cortex, this is the outer part of the kidney. Let me see if I can get a... Here we go. Renal cortex, it's the outside of the kidney. This is where your nephrons are located, that picture I just showed you. Nephrons, these are the structures where the blood is actually purified, so that's very important. Then you have your collection tubules. That's where your urine is collected by the nephrons. That's where your urine is going to form. And then your renal pelvis, that is the main collection area. So that's where urine's going to collect. And then a ureter, this is where those two tubes, there's two of them, one for each kidney. And it's going to take that urine from the kidneys and it's going to go to the bladder for storage until it is released. So here's your kidneys, ureter, and then bladder. And then you have, of course, your bladder. That's your expandable urine storage organ. And then you have a urethra. Your urethra highlights the tube leading from the bladder to the outside of the body where you're going to excrete that liquid waste. And then your urine, I know this may seem weird, but you need to know if you're dehydrated or not. Your urine could be from yellowish to clear. Go ahead and write out beside there. If it's yellowish or darker, that means you're dehydrated. If it's kind of very light yellow to clear, you have enough water. And then the two diseases we'll talk about is diabetes, which some people call this the sweet urine disease, highlight because there's too much sugar in the blood. That sugar is leaving the blood through the kidneys, through the urine. So it actually smells sweet. It's very strange. And then cirrhosis of the liver. This is because you have too much ammonia and bile in your blood, and it concentrates in that, because all your liver is a big filtration system, and that causes something called jaundice, which is if your liver starts to fail because you have too much ammonia or bile, that greenish material, then your skin, your eyes, your fingernails, it's going to turn. You're going to actually look a slight yellow tint. And if you see anyone that has that slight yellow tint in their eyes and their skin, know, hey, that's the #1 sign of liver failure. And the most common cause of this is because of alcoholism. Your alcohol literally kills your liver. And then it collects too much ammonia, too much bile, and then it starts to fail, and then you're going to get that yellowing of the skin and eyes. So, make wise decisions. Alright guys, that's it for 8.13. We're going to have data set and synthesis tomorrow. Hope it was helpful.